Hi, everyone. We are live. This is Denise Simpson with my special guest, Lindsay Ronga. How are you guys doing today? If you are watching live, can you please give us some hearts, give us some likes, some comments too? We love to engage with you. And if you're watching the replay, we appreciate you. Please post a comment below. But we're going to have a fantastic conversation with my good friend Lindsay. I'm so excited about this topic. I know she is as well. So let's get started. Lindsay, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me today in your group, which can I just say is so wonderful to see the prompts and the engagement. And so I'm so glad to be here talking to you.
Oh, I appreciate you so much. Thank you. And thank you for accepting my invitation to talk about this subject that I know so many of us struggle with. And part of alignment, at least for me, is finding balance on a daily basis, right? It's about creating a life, with intention, right? And some purpose. And it's really tending to all the facets of our lives. And, that includes our mind, our body, our souls, our relationships, you name it. It has to do with every single aspect. And so for me, my body and my relationship with food has been a struggle my entire life. So I'm happy we're talking about this. And selfishly, I invite you and all these amazing thought leaders and experts in their field so I can get coaching on the spot. I mean, let's be real. That's why I do what I do at these shows, because I, as a coach, know how powerful this industry is and how transformational it can be. And so I want for our members to get to know you and hear what your definition is of alignment and how you get through tough days and trying to rebalance and find alignment, but also more importantly, how you help your clients find alignment and helping them create that positive relationship with food and their bodies. So yay. Thank you, Lindsay. We're here.
I love this. I love this topic. Can we I know this has to be short, but we could make it 2 hours and have some coffee and just go full on. But I'm so glad to even talk for a snippet of time on this wonderful subject because it's so near and dear to my heart. And thank you for sharing some of your journey and struggle because it's so common.
It certainly is. Absolutely. So I'd love for you to share a little bit about yourself and tell us about your journey if you can.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm a food and wellness coach and I help people make peace with food and with their body and love the skin they're in. And I find so much fulfillment in this. It's been a long journey for me to get to this place. But this was all prompted from a 7-year battle with an eating disorder. And even prior to the eating disorder, I was always experimenting with diets. From a young age, I think, I don't know if you remember like Hydroxycut. I haven't mentioned this in a long time, but
yes.
All the diet pills. It was, diet culture came in full force and bombarded us with all these new, tools and magic pills and widgets, and everyone just adopted this. Got to be in a smaller body, got to be exercising every day, got to be eating the right foods. So for me, I tend to go all in on things that I do. Yeah. And that dieting led to an eating disorder, which is a mental illness that 70 million people struggle with worldwide. So it's very common. Mm-hmm. And so my journey in getting out of the eating disorder, which is why I love talking about the subject, was balance, right? Was alignment and finding what that looks like for me, not somebody else. And I use coaching and mentors to help me really get to that place of freedom, food freedom and body freedom.
Wow. How impactful. You're so inspiring. And when I first was introduced to you in our coaching group through the Society of Women Entrepreneurs, and I heard your mission and I heard your journey, and it really resonated with me. And so thank you for sharing your wisdom with us and helping 70 million of us out there with this struggle. And something you said, the diet revolution that we have lived through and we're still living through. When you said Hydroxycut, that just, oh my gosh, I perked up, because these were the things that were being sold to us in that these were going to fix us, but it was a mental health problem. Like you said, it's a mental health issue. And so here we are popping all these diet pills and hurting ourselves even more. And so like I said, this topic resonates really strongly with me. So let's shift into alignment. You mentioned the balance. You mentioned, finding your way through this, and we're all battling this probably every single day. I mean, you don't take a magic pill and we're all better now and we're all in alignment every day. I've said this before. You have to want to live in alignment, and you have to want to find the balance. And so share with the group your personal definition of alignment.
I was thinking about this question, Denise, and I am a yoga teacher as well. And I use yoga to heal people's body with food and their mind as well. So I approach alignment from yoga because this is when the word first entered my vocabulary, which is getting your body in alignment in your asana, in your poses. And so when your body is out of alignment in yoga, two things can happen. One, you may experience pain or struggle in your body. You can feel it, right? If your knees are supposed to be bent or your chest is supposed to be open and it's not. The second thing that can happen is maybe you don't experience pain or struggle, but you're not experiencing the pose to its full potential. And so how to get in alignment in yoga is a teacher comes over and adjusts you, right? They put your hand here, they open your body up, and you think, right? There's this like release where you think, oh, this is what it's supposed to be like. Mm-hmm. And so similar to life, right? If you're not in alignment, and it's helpful to look from a perspective of what it's not, you can experience pain or struggle in your life when you're not in alignment. Or you're just not really living in life's full joy and full potential. Mm-hmm. So alignment for me is no pain or struggle in my life, even though there's tons of uncertainty and chaos around, right? Yeah. And really experiencing life to its fullest potential. Yeah. That's alignment for me.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that perspective with us, especially coming from a yoga background and that Eastern philosophy of alignment for you. Yeah. And so I understand that because I'm a novice in yoga and I am still very much a beginner after so many years. I'm humble enough to say that. And so that resonated with me too, in that when my yoga instructor comes over and opens my heart chakra up and I just feel this immense energy flowing through, and I feel in alignment when I have the assistance from someone who can see my body objectively, who could see my poses objectively from afar. And so here you are in yoga and you're living in your mind. As a student, I'm always very conscious of what I'm doing wrong, how the person next to me is doing it better, and comparing my body even to the person next to me. But when that instructor comes around and she shifts my hips a little bit, opens me up a little bit more, and then I realize I need the help. I need the partnership. I need someone who can see me from a distance and say, I can help her. I can adjust her here. And just those little nuances help me through my practice. And that's what we're doing here essentially in this group. We're offering an opportunity to share insight from an objective standpoint. Here we are as coaches, and we want to help the members in our group, find a way to find that positive relationship with food and their body. And so I see that as well as what we do as coaches. We help them find alignment. You through yoga and coaching, and I through doing my life and leadership coaching. And so anyway, back to our questions. See, Lindsay, you let me go on and we can be here all day, but we're on a time limit. So let me ask you this. So you shared your definition of what alignment means to you, and you gave a beautiful analogy of yoga and instructing and adjusting poses. Tell me how you personally stay in alignment when things get really tough, because I know you have a beautiful family and a busy mom, a busy businesswoman, running a successful coach, group coaching as well. You're being interviewed all over the world, and you're on podcasts and Facebook Lives like we are today. How do you find alignment when things get really tough?
Oh, it's such a good question. Let me just first say, I don't always have it, right? And so like yoga, I'm always looking to the experts. right? Because we're constantly seeking, we're constantly trying to find alignment, and I'm going to learn from the people who have it. So alignment in my life, and I say my life because it may be so different for someone else, is when my mind, body, and soul are working in tandem, right? And so one mantra that when you were speaking came into my mind when you were talking about being in yoga and comparing your body and being in your mind. One mantra that I regularly repeat to myself and repeat to my students in class is, I'm not the body. Wow. I'm not the mind. I'm something divine. Oh. And this was passed down from my teachers. Yeah. Sorry, what was that?
That's beautiful. I'm sorry. I just had to take a gasp of air. That was so good.
Yeah. And so I think the way that I find it is one, noticing, but two, setting myself up almost like prevention, right? So I don't want to be out of alignment. So I've adopted habits in my life that set me up to have alignment most of the time. Yeah. And so for me, it's implementing daily habits that work. And so with my clients, it's obviously sharing what works for me, but encouraging and empowering them to find their habits. But none of this can happen, Denise, without a plan. Right. And so making a plan for myself and noticing if what I'm doing maybe isn't serving me anymore, and not judging, right? That's okay if it's not working, but finding something new to kind of get myself back to where mind, body, soul are working together.
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. And can you share maybe a daily habit that you practice?
Oh, sure. Yeah. And let me just pre-frame this by saying, because I think a lot of people say when the mind, body, soul aren't working together, and people are like, what does that mean? Like, what are you even talking about? Sure. So some examples that I like to give to clients, so it's in context of introducing a habit that will help, serve that. The mind and body are at odds throughout the day. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just a fact, right? Yeah. Take getting up in the morning, for example, right? Your mind is saying, I should get out of bed. Mm-hmm. My alarm went off. Mm-hmm. I should get out of bed. And your body is like in the fetal position saying, don't take the covers off this body. Don't do it. Mm-hmm. Don't make myself like stretch out. And so mind and body are at odds. And similarly with food, right? Our body's saying, feed me something that nourishes me. Feed me something that makes me feel good. Yeah. And our mind is like, I could probably have another piece of cake. Yeah. I want that piece of cake, right? And so they're like this. Mm-hmm. So how do you get it to a place where when your alarm goes off, your mind is saying like, yeah, it's time to get up. And your body's like, yes, it's going to feel good. I'm getting out of bed now. I'm going to do a full body stretch and jump out of bed. Yeah. And so for me, the long-winded way of saying my habits and what helps for me. So I'll share two if that's okay.
Yeah,
I'll keep them short.
Oh, no, please.
One is I go to bed at night thinking of the person I want to be. Oh. Every night when I close my eyes, I think of the coach I want to be, the impact I want to have in the disordered eating community and emotional eating and stress eating. And I think of the mom that I want to be, right? I think of the energy that I want to have, and that helps keep my mindset in a place that's going to match my energy, my body. And then the second thing that I do that's maybe been about 8 months, but has been a major shift in my life, is something called RMT, or release meditation technique, which you may have heard of. Yeah. So we go through so many transitions throughout the day, from like answering emails to jumping on a Facebook Live with you, right? From commuting in our car to walking in a setting full of people. Mm-hmm. So we go from solitary to social environments, from yoga to seeing 3 children who are very needy. And so release meditation technique is really about releasing the energy from before and introducing a new intention in the energy that you want to have in the next moment. And I probably do this 4 or 5 times throughout the day in transitional moments to release energy and set new energy.
Yeah, I love that. I'm with you on that. And what I do, because I have really long writing blocks that I set for myself every day. And so I'll set the timer for 50 minutes, and then I'll go and leave the office, stretch, take a walk outside, get the pups out and moving. And then I set another intention for my next 50 minutes of writing. And so I do that 4 times, because I'll set about a 4 to 5 hour block. Only because I'm on a very, very strict timeline right now. So I'm trying to really stay focused and intentional. And that's such a great thing to share with everyone, something that they can incorporate every day. So thank you for sharing those two habits. I appreciate that. Now you mentioned, yes, sharing for the purpose of helping someone discover their habits or something that works for them. So let's talk about how you help your clients create that positive relationship with food and their bodies. Tell us a little bit about what you do with your clients, either on a one-on-one basis or in your group coaching. Share with us a little bit too, some strategies that we can take with us and try to implement. Yeah,
I think, the first one, we're all creatures of our experiences with food, and all of us have had such different upbringings and influences around what our relationship with food is like and our body. And so the very first thing I do with clients, and I encourage anyone watching to do, is define what you want. What do you want your relationship to look like with your body and with food? Do you want to be able to enjoy treats that make your soul smile every once in a while? Or is that not important to you, right? So everybody's relationship with food and their body's a little bit different. Most importantly, you want it to be peaceful and harmonious.
Yeah.
And so in just defining what we want with food, that brings up a lot of stuff that clients realize, wait, I am not close to that. And so how do we get there? And so a lot of my work is just bridging that gap, right? And coming up with co-creating a plan to get there for clients. So first is really understanding what they want it to look like. And then it's creating an action plan, which I encourage everybody to do. And how you can take a little step each day, right? We're not going A to Z here, and all of a sudden, we love my body. I'm going to say a mantra, and all of a sudden, I love the skin I'm in, right? Positive thinking mantra doesn't work like that. It's a practice, just like yoga. And so you'll start to notice, though, as you adopt, whether it's mantras, affirmations, new daily habits that start to get you in touch with how you feel, as you do that, you're going to start to notice that you're getting closer and closer.
Yeah.
Right? And you're going to celebrate those victories as you get there. So I would encourage everyone just to define what they want the relationship with food to look like. And most of the time when it really, comes to the surface, most people want to be free of dieting, free of cutting out entire categories of food, because look, when we're focused on not eating something, we say, don't eat sugar, don't eat sugar, don't eat sugar. We're focused on the sugar, right? And it's further putting our mind and body at odds.
Yeah.
So really being clear about what you want that to look like.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Being clear. So you, as I'm hearing you speak, I'm thinking of, my goodness, I have to get in balance first so that I can show my children what a positive relationship with food looks like. And, it's one thing to do it for ourselves, but we also have to take care of the mouths that we feed and the little ones that are watching us struggle with our weight and watching us on the scale every morning and obsessing over what we're putting in our mouths and how many calories we're counting. And as I'm hearing you speak, and also because I'm obsessed with you on social media. So, and we'll share with everyone how to find you on Instagram, or even on Facebook, but, you have a post out, on I believe, sharing with your children, or helping them realize that a treat, how about you share this, Lindsay? You wrote the blog, so
and I think, there's a lot of information in there. So it's on really 5 parenting mistakes that can hurt a child's relationship with their own body and food. And so as parents, we're really responsible, and our single biggest power is role modeling. And there's so much we do, like criticizing ourselves or body shaming in front of our children. Talking about dieting implies that being in a smaller body is the right thing to go for. And if children aren't in a smaller body, that can create a lot of shame and guilt with children. And something else that I encourage clients to do is get out of that mentality of good food versus bad food, right? Especially for children, when they start to link that association with bad food, it's very easy for them to internalize that and say, well, if I'm eating bad food, I must be bad, and this must be wrong, or I must be unhealthy if this food is unhealthy. So changing and shifting your language around food and your body is so important, not only for your children, but for your own mental state, right? Like, imagine what would happen when we put on a dress and say, like, oh man, I feel good, I look good, and I'm so proud of what my body can do. I'm so proud of the way it feels to be in this body, versus, I think I'm going to change. This is too tight. Oh, I can see my little fat roll right here, right? Your kids see that. They see that. And more importantly, if you start to program that into your brain, right? And that belief becomes your way of life. And so, I think if y'all want to read that blog post, if you're a mom or a dad, I think it can be really helpful, not only in helping your children, but in helping yourself come to love the skin you're in and have a good relationship with food.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that so eloquently. I appreciate that. And this is why I follow you on Facebook and Instagram in particular, and love to read your posts and your blog posts that you publish too. Yeah. And so, and we'll share with everyone at the end of our broadcast here how they can find you, your website, and all those details that are important. But you sharing that again resonated with something really deeply in my heart that I'm still struggling with, because I saw my mother. She's not on this earth anymore, but I saw my mother struggle with weight all of her life. And she was always on the scale. She was always on some diet. She was always trying to jog around the block. She was always trying to find alignment with her body. And it was something that I struggled with. And I was the only sister in the family who struggled with weight. And I was always the one, different in the family. I was, and very different among my sisters still probably. But it was something I was ridiculed. It was something I was bullied over, being overweight. And so it carried me through my adulthood and trying to find those quick fixes with those diet pills and even, getting to the point of binge eating, going from one extreme to the other. And so it has been a struggle. And now in my 40s, can I actually say, okay, I think I've got it this time. Like I finally feel really balanced, and I finally feel complete almost. And it's because of finding intention, every day being intentional about alignment and being very particular in what I do eat. And that stems into all facets of my life, being very intentional on that. But anyway, I just wanted to share that very short little story of my struggle with food.
I'd love to add on, because it was very blatant with like the hydroxy cut, and Slim Fast was another one. But now it's a little bit more clever, right? A lot of times you hear wellness coaches and it's under the guise of dieting and weight loss. And so just being mindful that clean eating, right, taking anything like that too far can be a bit dangerous, right? So I think like anything in life, having that balance, you could be, super obsessive about certain things in your life and go all in, but being mindful and aware of what you tend to do when you have stress around food, right? Like when you have emotions, it's very different from like being addicted to alcohol versus numbing your emotions with food, right? Alcohol, the substance, really plays a role in like shifting your state.
Yes.
And with food, it's not so much the food itself, it's the process, right? So people with eating disorders have a process addiction versus a substance addiction.
Wow.
So just noticing what you do in times of stress or when you have high emotions and what that looks like, how it manifests in food. And maybe that's the first step, right? Just noticing and then creating a plan from there. But I appreciate you sharing that, Denise, because our parents play such a big role in our relationship with food and our body and the belief that we create about ourselves. And so, and your mom, your sweet mom, was doing the best she could, right? Trying to find that alignment for herself. Right. And so how wonderful that you've started to find it now In your 40s, because by the way, I was mid-30s, so I'm right there with you, finding that alignment.
Better late than never. I mean, I'm okay with that. I mean, yeah. So thank you for the coaching. I mean, this is very selfishly why I do what I do with these shows. I get you guys to come on and help me through my issues. So
I love it. You're great.
Will you please share with us how we can find you, some information on any upcoming programs that you have to offer?
Yeah, so I have a group coaching program starting September 17th called Break the Behaviors, and that's a very intimate group of 6. So that's found on my website, as well as the individual coaching, which is called Food and Wellness Freedom, and it's outshininged@outshininged.com. And then on Instagram, I'm Ronga LK, and I'd love to connect with you wonderful people. I love reading your comments in Denise's group, and I just think it's so wonderful what you're doing and offering for everybody.
Well, we appreciate you, Lindsay. Thank you for accepting this invitation and for giving us some really great information, some practical things that we could do, some ideas that we can take home and we can try to modify or implement them immediately. And so everyone, if you are watching this replay, will you please comment below, show some love. We'd love to hear from you. Lindsay and I obviously are in this group. We'll be engaging after the show. And please reach out. Make sure you reach out to Lindsay and find out a little bit more about her group and all of her services that she has to offer. She's amazing. And we thank you, Lindsay, for your time today. We appreciate you so much.
You're the best, Denise. Thank you for having me. And I honestly think the world of you. You are such an elegant, graceful, eloquent woman, and I love what you're doing.
I appreciate you, Lindsay. Oh, thank you so much. Well, we'll see you all soon. Thank you all very much for taking the time to watch our live and our replay. We'll be in touch. You all have a wonderful afternoon and a great weekend. And thanks again, Lindsay.
Bye, everyone.